Now, the United Nations has sounded concern about the recent constitutional amendments in Pakistan. The United Nations High Commissioner for Human Rights, Volker Turk, has said that the hastily adopted constitutional amendments have seriously undermined judicial independence and have also raised some grave concerns about the military's accountability in Pakistan. The Human Rights Chief flagged the constitutional amendments such as the 26th Amendment last year and the 27th Amendment this year that have been adopted without broad consultation. It also lacked a debate with the legal community and the wider civil society. Now, Volker Turk warned that the amendments run counter to the separation of powers that underpin the rule of law and safeguard the protection of human rights. Now remember, under the changes that have been adopted on the 13th of November, a new federal constitution has now been given powers over the constitutional cases, replacing the previous authority of the Supreme Court, which will now only deal with civil and criminal cases. The United Nations warning has come a day after Asim Munir took charge as the Chief of the Defence Forces, or the CDF. The post was created through the contentious 27th Amendment, which was rushed through Pakistan's parliament on the 1st of November. And as CDF, Asim Munir is now at the helm of the tri-services, that is the Army, the Navy and the Air Force, putting Asim Munir firmly in charge of Pakistan's military. It also puts him in charge of Pakistan's nuclear weapon systems. The changes also have given General Asim Munir legal immunity that is equivalent to that of Pakistan's president. And further, he'll retain his rank and privileges for life and can be removed from office only through an impeachment. Now, referring to the 27th Amendment, the United Nations Rights Chief said that such sweeping immunity undermines accountability and will have some far-reaching consequences on the state of democracy in Pakistan. Meanwhile, the Pakistani police has detained about 24 PTI leaders and workers following the protests at the Karachi Press Club. The protests were held to demonstrate the party's concerns over the former Prime Minister Imran Khan's well-being. The jailed PTI leader has been lodged in Rawalpindi's Adiala prison, and repeated requests by his family and party members to meet him have all been denied. All right, now joining us on the broadcast, we've got our correspondent Susan Tehrani, who's joining us live. Susan, what more can you tell us about this very strongly worded statement by the United Nations High Commissioner, pertaining to the constitutional changes within Pakistan, giving some unlimited powers and immunity to Army Chief General Asim Munir, who's been hosted by Donald Trump at the White House?
Yeah, we're seeing one of the most strongly worded statements coming from the human rights chief yet when it comes to Pakistan. As you mentioned, Volker Turk, is concerned about Pakistan's judicial independence in light of these constitutional changes. Now, it's important to note that he believes that it will undermine judicial independence because the judges have already been picked by the government and not from an independent body, and also grants lifetime immunity not only to top civilian but also military leaders. So what Volker Turk is saying is he's saying that he's concerned about the democratic checks and balances that come with a system that was under the umbrella of the Supreme Court, and then moving to this constitutional amendment that will ultimately undermine Pakistan's judicial independence.
Interesting. Thank you very much, Susan Tehrani, for joining us with those updates there. For all the latest news, download the WION app and subscribe to our YouTube channel.